general relationship between the area, that is cross-sectional area, your velocity and the pressure in a nozzle flow. So this is what we have the relationship. Okay. So before we draw the we do that it actually, let's try to draw the nozzle and see what will happen. Suppose if I consider this as my nozzle. So this as my nozzle. So it has an inlet, okay, and then so it has an exit. So let me draw a little bit of some kind of a CD nozzle, some kind of a thing. So it's a nozzle. Okay, fine. So this insulated from the outer surface is completely insulated, though there is no heat interaction. And then the steam is entering, that is, this is my steam inlet, this is my steam outlet or exit, whatever it means. So now let us try to consider a small elemental strip somewhere between your inlet and exit. Let me consider a strip, a small strip I'm going to consider. A small strip here, somewhere here. Okay, so this particular strip is a strip actually. Suppose if I consider A as the area to the left of the strip and a small incremental area to the right hand side will be A plus delta A. And what is the pressure on this side? It will be P. If I consider this as P, with a specific volume V, and to the right hand side, so this will be P plus delta P and V plus delta V, and this distance, if I consider this as small delta x. Okay. Now, so this is what I have considered. So what type of flow it is actually? The flow is, so let me write that. Consider a nozzle, okay, so through which the flow has to be steady. So through which the flow is steady and isentropic, because I have an adiabatic wall and isentropic. Okay. So I'm going to consider a small elemental strip. That means I do have, so this is one plane. If I try to look at it actually, this is left hand side I have a plane and to the right hand side I have element. So I do have two plane surfaces. That is, one is of surface area A and other is of surface area A plus delta A, which is separated by a small distance delta x. Now, if I assume that nozzle is running full and the velocity is uniform across any section, so these are some of the assumptions which I am going to make. That means if I consider maybe two planes, or if I consider, so there are two planes. Let me call this as one. This is two. Those are two planes separated by a distance delta x. Distance delta x with the property shown in here. So the nozzle is completely, that means I do have the nozzle is completely there is steam is running full. So the velocity is uniform across any cross section. If the nozzle is running, or the steam is, so if there is a nozzle is having the steam, if the nozzle is running full, that's the meaning of it. the nozzle is running full, the velocity at is uniform across any cross section, is uniform across any cross section. So this is for any steady flow energy equation. What steady flow? Flow actually. This is the thing what I have. Now if I try to use continuity equation, so consider, so using the continuity equation, let's try to use the continuity equation. So what it is actually, it is your mass flow rate, that is m dot is equal to A into V divided by small v, where A is the cross sectional area, CV is the velocity, and V is the small volume. V is the specific volume. This is at plane 1. So now at plane 2, this will be A plus delta A. This will be V plus delta V, okay, divided by small v plus your delta V. So let me call this as equation number 1. Now if I do a little bit of cross multiplication, so I can write V plus delta V divided by V is equal to A plus delta A into, so I can write divided by A. Just I'm trying to separate that particular thing. So V plus delta V divided by V. So same equation I am rewriting, just doing little bit of cross multiplication. So that, so this particular thing I can write it as, so if I take V, so this will be 1 plus delta V. So this I can write it as 1 plus delta V by V. Okay. Similarly, I can write 1 plus delta A by A. Okay. Into 1 plus delta V by V. All those things. Now, you try to look at this particular equation. So, try to look at this particular equation. We know that, see, or I can write delta A by A plus your delta V by V. Okay, here, if I try to look at this particular thing, I can, from this particular equation, I can write it as delta A by A. So, I'm whatever the right hand side I'm writing, plus delta V by V. Okay, so it's equal to, means if I take it to the left hand side, right hand side, this will be delta V by V is equal to 0. If you want, if you do a little bit of mathematical operation on this particular equation, I will end up with this relationship. Or if I, this is for some kind of a flow. If I try to apply the limits for this particular thing, if I try to apply for this limits for this particular equation, this will become a whole differential equation, that is dA by A plus dV by V minus dV by V. Okay, so if it is, and if it is within the limits, so applying the limits for the above equation, what I'm going to get, I'm going to get, this will be dA by A plus d velocity by V minus, okay.
Sir, have we neglected delta A by A into delta V by V?
Yes, that's a very, very small. See, this product, delta A by A into delta V by, it becomes already, it is small. It's something like multiplying 0.01 into 0.01, something like that. Okay, that quantity we are trying to neglect. So
Okay,
that's
sir.
usually, we know this is usually when you are trying to solve this kind of equation, all the negligible, all the product quantities which are like, maybe if you might be knowing dou A by A, or maybe dou V by V, or dou U by V, dou U by X into dou V by X or something, product of that we are going to neglect it. We have done the same thing in earlier in the AFM also. Okay. Now, so this will be dV by V is equal to 0. So just I'm applying the limits. So let me call this as equation number 2. Now, what type of flow it is actually? Already we have taken that. The flow is isentropic. Okay. For an isentropic flow, for an isentropic flow, what is it actually? It is PV to the power of gamma is equal to quantity. You have to be very careful. V is volume here. It is not velocity. So if I try to apply the log on both sides, what I'm going to get? This will be ln of p plus, so gamma into ln of v is equal to ln of k or k or c or whatever it may be. So I can write it as, if I try to apply the log on both sides, I can write it as ln of p plus gamma into ln of v is equal to ln of c, where so your c is equal to constant, right? Like if you want, you can write c, or if you want, you can write k. Now, if I try to differentiate this, what are the different? What will be different? See, if I try to differentiating the above equation, differentiating the above equation. So if I try to differentiate, what I'm going to get actually? Differentiating the above equation. So what will be the differentiation? So if I try to differentiate ln of p, this will be, what is it actually? I can write it as, so what will happen if I differentiate it?
dp
1
by
by
p.
p,
dp
1
by
by
p.
p into, yes. So 1 by p into dp, that is a dp by p
Plus nu into
plus,
d by
okay,
v
nu into dv by
by
v.
equals
Anyway,
to
that
0.
side we have the constant. It should be 0. Okay, 0. Because differentiation of any constant is 0. Now, dp by p plus gamma into dv by v is equal to 0. Or I can write the same equation. I can write dv by v is equal to, if I take it to the other side, this will be 1 by gamma into dp by p. Okay, for any isentropic flow, I am getting the change in your volume dv by v is equal to minus 1 by gamma into dp by p. So I am calling this as equation number 3. Okay, so now if I try to look at the momentum equation, let's try to look at the momentum equation for any kind of isentropic, any kind of flow through your nozzle. Okay, now let's try to look at the momentum equation. What is the momentum equation? I'll come to that. What we can write actually. So momentum equation for a steam nozzle. Okay, so the momentum equation for steam nozzle. What is it? So I hope you remember that when I was doing the derivation for the maximum discharge, I told that gain in kinetic energy should be equal to change in enthalpy. Okay, gain in kinetic energy should be equal to change in enthalpy, which is equal to work done per kg of steam or working fluid. This is what we have written. Now, the momentum equation is actually, that is your gain in kinetic energy. The gain in the kinetic energy is equal to the change in enthalpy. Change in enthalpy. This we got it from your steady flow energy equation. What it is actually? That is your V2 square minus V1 square by 2 is equal to H1 minus H2. Okay, this is what we got. This is already we know. Okay. Now, what is H actually? We know that H is the enthalpy, which is actually U plus PV. Where what is this U actually? This is your internal energy, and this is your pressure volume product, that is actually we call that as flow work. Okay, at the same time you have, see, your H as well as U is a function of temperature. So H I can write Cp into T, U I can write Cv into T, that already know. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to substitute for this H here actually. So therefore your V2 square minus V1 square by 2 is equal to U1 plus P1 V1 into minus of U2, this is U2 plus P2 V2. Or if I can write it as, like if I write separately, so U1 minus U2 plus, I can write P1 V1 minus P2 V2. Okay. Now as I told that U is a function of temperature, or I can write Cv into T, all from the thermodynamics. So I can write U1 as Cv into T1, U2 as Cv into T2, or I can write U1 minus U2 as Cv into T1 minus T2 plus P1 V1 minus P2 V2. So this is your kinetic energy equation, that is V2 square minus V1 square by 2. Let me call this as equation number 4, this one. This I am calling as equation number 5. So this is the equation what I have. Hope you remember, there are a couple of 2 TDS equations are there. So can anyone tell me what are the 2 TDS equations? Entropy relationships. TDS is equal to, one is in terms of your internal energy, other one in terms of DH.
DH is TDS plus VDP.
TDS is equal to DU plus PDV, and we have one more TDS, DH minus VDP. Okay, so we have 2 TDS equations. So we have the entropy relationships. We have the entropy relationships. You did not write this, so I'm trying to so that people can recall. Okay, we have 2 entropy relations. So one is actually, it is TDS is equal to du plus PdV, and other one is TDS is equal to DH minus VDP. Okay, this equation, this comes from your entropy relationships. Okay, now for the nozzle flow, if the ds is equal to 0, what it is? For an isentropic flow, your change in entropy is equal to 0. So I'm going to use the TDS, this equation I'm going to use, because it's in terms of enthalpy, I'm going to use this equation. So I can write, if TDS is equal to 0, I can write, so DH is equal to VDP. Okay, DH is equal to VDP. This equation will become DH is equal to VDP. Are you getting? So this particular equation will become TDS is equal to VDP. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to substitute this equation in your expression. What we have actually, we have the expression V2 square minus this particular thing. I'm going to substitute for DH. What is DH actually? DH is equal to change in enthalpy. DH is equal to change in enthalpy. If I substitute over there, what will happen? If I substitute over there, so DH is DH, I'm going to substitute in this expression. So if I try to take this and substitute over here, equation 4 can be written as where V2 square minus V1 square is equal to your VDP. Okay. So this is one form of representing. So this is in terms of CV, in terms of P1 V1, I can write it. Or for a isentropic process, your DH is equal to VDP. Therefore, equation 4 becomes, I can write it as V2 square minus V1 square by 2 is equal to DH. I can write it as VDP. Now, so what is it actually? VDP means there should be some limit in the pressure. I can write VDP, I can write it as integral from, see, this is integral from some lower limit of the pressure to higher limit of the pressure. Whether it is from P1 to P2 or P2 to P1, I should be able to clearly tell. So if you have my lower pressure as P1 and higher pressure as P2, so I should be able to write it. So P1 to P2, this equation. So I can write it as V2 square minus V1 square by 2. So this becomes my equation. So integral of VDP. So this is an ideal condition. This is an ideal condition. Suppose there is a note actually. If there exists a friction, okay, if there is a friction in the nozzle, there is a friction in the nozzle, friction in the nozzle. What is it actually? There is a friction, there is a work loss due to friction which will be lost. Okay, work loss due to friction is the last work. I'm going to lose this. So what should I do actually? I can write this equation 6. Equation 6 can be modified as, so equation 6 can be written as, if there is a friction, for an ideal flow it's not a problem, can be written as, that is V2 square minus V1 square by 2 is equal to integral of from P1 to P2 VDP minus work loss due to friction. Okay, this particular frictional loss I need to consider if I am not working on, if it is not an ideal isentropic process. If it is not an isentropic process. If it is an isentropic process, then the equation 6 holds good. If it is non-isentropic process, then I have to consider the equation 7. So that's how it is. Now, if I coming back to your original derivation, so here what I have is actually, if I try to look at this expression, if I try to look at this particular expression, we have the change in, so your change in velocity, is it? Yeah, your change in velocity, where is it? Yeah. If I try to look at this particular expression, your change in velocity is equal to, where is it? CP into, so equation 3 we have, so dV by is equal to minus 1 by gamma into dP by P. So now what is this actually? If I try to look at this particular thing, so from the momentum equation, what I can write actually this particular thing, any change in your velocity, that is V into dV, whatever it may be, it's equal to your minus of VDP. That is, if I try to write the same expression, so this expression, if I try to write in terms of V2 square minus V1 square by 2. So if I try to write it from P2 to P1, so this will become minus VDP. Okay, so this expression, no, whatever we have actually, so this I can write it as, this is your V dV, this will be equal to your minus VDP. This comes from your momentum equation. Or I can write it as, this particular thing, I can write it as this expression. If I try to divide both the sides by V or whatever it may be, or I can write this expression as dV by V is equal to your VDP by, so V into V square, whatever it may be, or V square. So this expression, whatever we have, so if I try to, so this expression, so V square will be there at the bottom. So dV by V will be equal to your minus VDP by your V square. Yeah. So then you have to substitute for this expression in your what is that? This expression. Where is it? Yeah, in your equation 2. Okay, there you substitute for your dv by v and you substitute for your d, that is, so you retain dA by E, you substitute for dV by V, substitute for your change in specific volume, substitute for change in your velocities. And whatever the expression you are going to get, and that is the expression where you will be getting in terms of dA by A. That is the one which was trying to show you the relationship between your change in area with respect to some kind of what is called as a Mach number. I think this kind of a derivation you might have done in your gas dynamics course. Okay. Now this expression, whatever we have, no, this expression I can write it as this will be, so dV by V is equal to your minus VdP by V square. Okay. So this equation I can call it as equation number 8. Now substitute for dV by V here and dV by from equation 3. Substituting for dV by V, that is change in velocity, from equation 8 and your dV by V from equation 3 in your original equation 2. So what will happen? Your equation will become something like this. This will be dA by A plus, if I substitute for dV by V, this will be minus VdP by V square, okay, minus, so this will be minus 1 by gamma into dP by P, which is equal to 0. So if I try to simplify this, this will be dA by A minus VdP by V square plus 1 by gamma into dP by P is equal to 0. Or if I take only dA by A, rest all you take to the right hand side, this will be dA by A is equal to plus VdP by V square minus 1 by gamma into dP by P. Okay. Now if I try to take dP by P outside, so what will happen? So the same equation, I'm going to simplify this. So dA by A is equal to, if I try to take 1 by gamma outside and then dP by P, so this will be VdP by V square, okay, VdP by V square into, you have gamma into, you have the P, okay, divided by your dP minus 1, because I am trying to take 1 by gamma into dP. So this quantity I am trying to take, so I am multiplying this quantity by, so this is a multiplying actually. I am trying to multiply this. So gamma P by dP I am trying to multiply. Or further simplification I can do, so dP goes off, so then, so this will be gamma P into V by V square. So dA by A is equal to 1 by gamma into dP by P into gamma into P into specific volume divided by V square minus 1. So let me call this equation number 9. Okay. Now So you know that there is something called as sonic velocity. Okay, there is something called as sonic velocity. So at a given pressure, we call it as pressure, a given volume V and all. So which is given by square root of gamma RT. Because we know that PV is equal to RT. Okay, PV is equal to RT, we know. So sonic velocity is what actually, what is it actually? See, you have a given velocity. So, and you have your velocity, sonic velocity means velocity of the sound. You have the velocity of the sound, which is velocity of the sound, velocity of the sound, or we also called as the sonic velocity, which is actually C, is equal to, so what is it actually? Square root of gamma RT. This you might have studied. So this is given by this expression. So what I'm going to do with equation number 9, I will substitute for PV as RT. Okay, and try to write this as C square. I'll try to write it as C square. Because we know that Mach number is nothing but ratio of V by. So the ratio of V by your velocity, that is your fluid velocity, to your velocity of the sound or sonic velocity. I can write this equation number 9 as PA by A is equal to 1 by gamma into dP by P into gamma into R into T divided by V square minus 1. So substitute for C is equal to gamma RT R, so it will be C square. Okay, therefore this will be dA by A is equal to 1 by gamma into dP by P into C square by V square minus 1. Okay, so if I call this as equation 10, we know Mach number is given by, so Mach number M is given by is the ratio of your fluid velocity to velocity of the sound. So what I can write actually, this I will modify and write it. So this will become, so V square by, so this will become 1 by M square. Okay, 1 by M square minus 1. So substitute for that actually, this will be dA by A is equal to 1 by gamma into dV by P. So this will be 1 by M square minus 1, or if I take M square common, this will be 1 minus, the same expression I can write it in this particular form, or the general form is 1 by gamma into dP by P into 1 minus M square by M square. So this is your final expression. Okay, so this will give an insight into changes in the nozzle area. Okay, this expression 11 gives an idea of what are the changes in the area under what conditions. Okay, now depending upon, see, this is a function of, see, depends on your Mach number. Okay, depends on your Mach number, depends on your pressure ratio, which is dP by P, your area depends on it. The changes in the nozzle area for different conditions we can write. Let's try to write the conditions. What type of flow? So let's try to write that actually. Say for example, I have a some kind of a subsonic flow and I have a supersonic flow. Anyhow, M beyond any greater than 1 or greater than 3 or 4, it's a supersonic flow. That also comes under supersonic. So I will write for subsonic, I will write for supersonic. Okay. So type of flow.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, we had similar kind of equation in gas dynamics
Yes.
for nozzle and diffuser. What is the difference between this equation and that equation, sir?
It's the same equation. The same equation, but this is
Like-
for the steam nozzle.
like-
That's for a gas nozzle.
Okay.
See, the phenomena is actually under the subsonic condition or supersonic condition. What is happening? That's it for a nozzle. So if I try to consider the type of flow, the first one. So the type of flow is subsonic flow. If it is a subsonic flow with a Mach number less than 1. Okay, so I have a condition. If, so let me write that. So I have two conditions. Let me write this. So let me put a column, then only you'll be able to understand it. Okay, let me put two columns. And then this will be the condition what I'm going to put. Okay, the condition is dP by P. It is negative. Okay, then dP by P, it is positive. We'll try to look at this condition. So what will happen if it is a negative dP by P? What do you mean by it actually? dP by P is negative. It is a nozzle. Okay, it's a convergent nozzle. It means I'll be having a convergent nozzle, something like this. If it is a dP by P is negative, so this becomes a nozzle. Okay, and to be very precise, it is a convergent nozzle. So if it is a supersonic flow, what will happen? The second condition, if I consider, if it is a supersonic flow with M greater than 1. So this will exactly becomes a divergent portion. That's why we see the CD nozzles find a lot of application in your supersonic and hypersonic flows. So this particular thing will become something like this. So this will become completely a divergent one. Okay, so what I'm going to end up with? I'm going to end up with a divergent nozzle. Okay, because this is the direction of the flow. This is the direction of the flow. It becomes a divergent nozzle. To see now, what is the thing which is very important here? It's your pressure gradient. Okay, it's your pressure gradient. So now suppose my dP by P is positive. Exactly, this will become a diffuser. So I am going to end up with a divergent diffuser. So I am going to end up with a divergent diffuser. So this is the direction of the flow. I will end up with a divergent diffuser. This is all from the equation 11, what I am writing. So what will happen if dP by P is positive? I will end up with a convergent diffuser. So that means we do have convergent diffusers also. So now what is more critical here is actually this is the equation number 11. So this is a convergent diffuser. So depending upon, see if I try to tell that if my velocity, if at any given point, if velocity is, that is your Mach number, if at a velocity is less than 1, that is your Mach number is less than 1, then at any given point, what will happen to your dA? What will happen to your dA? And what will happen, see, for a given condition dP by P, so dA will become a negative. So it has to converge. If the pressure decreases along the flow, see what is happening here, in case of a nozzle, the pressure is decreasing along the flow direction. So similarly, my dA by A or your area also should decrease, must be negative, that should decreasing. This corresponds to a convergent part of a nozzle. What will happen if my M is equal to 1? If my M is equal to 1, what will happen? I will end up with what is called as a choked flow. And the throat of the nozzle is reached. So I'm going to have the throat cut. That is, there is no changes in that particular area and that particular part. That means it remains constant. dA by A will become 0. So dA by A will become 0. at the throat condition. Okay, at the throat condition, down to the CD of the nozzle, the CD nozzle. Suppose what will happen if my M is greater than 1, your dP by, so your dP, if it is negative, the still it is decreasing actually. I will end up with the changes in your velocity or your area will be positive. So this becomes a divergent part of your nozzle. So this kind of, the equation is more important when you are studying the nozzle, what type of nozzle I'm trying to, whether it's a convergent nozzle or a divergent nozzle or whether it's a convergent divergent nozzle. Okay, this equation number 11 is very, very critical. Is that clear? Any clarifications, any doubt? Okay,
Yes, sir.
fine. Okay, fine. I think we'll try to stop here.